everyone, to the Claims Adjuster Workshop hosted by TPAS. I am your host, Charlene Hoskins, and on our panel today, we're going to have Ruben Dinkins, Akivia Hardy, if she's able to get in, but if not, I'm sure Ruben and Gary have a lot of story to tell us. And of course, Gary Smith, okay? And for those who do not know me, my name is Charlene Hoskins, and just to give you a little bit of my background, I actually became an insurance claims adjuster back in 2018 as a result of Hurricane Katrina. From there, I went ahead. What did I say? I said 2018. I've been doing this 18 years. Sorry. Yeah, started because Katrina did not happen in 2005. That was a good introduction until that happened. But anyways, we're gonna roll with it. I have been an adjuster since 2005. We'll edit this out for the YouTube. All right. I've been an adjuster since 2005. I got started with me, my mother, and my aunt during Hurricane Katrina. A few years later, I created TPAS in 2011 because I realized adjusters were just not getting enough training. Okay. And so that's what we created TPAS for. And we have evolved greatly since then. I have great news to tell all of you. If we have time, I may announce it at the end of this, just so Gary and Ruben can get the heads up. I haven't really told most, and yeah, I haven't even made an announcement or anything on our social medias. So stay tuned for the end for all of our great TPAS news. But this is not about me. This is about our panelists. All of our panelists that you will be hearing from today have been trained and mentored by TPAS. All right. And so we just want to showcase them. We want to let those know who are thinking about getting into this. Not only can it be a job for you, but it can also be a great career. It's very lucrative. And you end up having a lot of freedom. All right. So first, but definitely not least, we are going to go ahead and start off with Mr. Ruben Dinkins. All right, Mr. Ruben came to us last year.
Correct.
Correct. Came to
Yes.
us last year, went to licensing, and he has a very unique story because for him, it's a bit of a family affair. All right. So, anywho's, I'm sorry, y'all. I sing randomly. Just roll with it. Okay. So anywho's, without any further delay, I am gonna make Ruben's introduction very short because if I tell you what I tell you, then he won't be able to tell it to you. Okay. So without further delay, Ruben,
Hey, hey.
welcome.
Thank you
Hey,
so
hey,
much. It's an
hey.
honor to be here. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking out the time to sit with us and tell your story today. We all are going to really, really appreciate it in advance. Okay. So, Ruben, to start off, can you just, I know I gave a little bit, but first of all, tell us what you were doing before you went into insurance adjusting.
Okay. Before I discovered insurance adjusting, I graduated high school. I was in college. I'm 22 years old. So one of the youngest adjusters doing it right now, but currently 22 years old, but I was in college. I majored in biology. I always knew I wanted to help people in some shape or fashion. And my first thought was doctor. I thought that was going to be a great fit for me. It turns out it wasn't. I did a couple semesters, just found out again it wasn't really my passion. It wasn't for me. But I commend those who go that route for sure. But I switched my major to accounting. I was like, okay, maybe science isn't my field. Maybe I like math. I like numbers. I like counting money. Maybe accounting's my field. But it wasn't it either. I should have listened to everybody. It didn't have the right kind of excitement I was looking for. As everybody was telling me, it was a little boring. I didn't listen. That was my current major. I took a break from college. I was home for a winter break, and that's when I started taking adjusting rather seriously. My dad's been a claims adjuster for he's pushing 20 years now. He's about to hit his 20-year mark, and I started getting with him and asking more questions, and that's kind of got me into where I am currently today.
Sorry, I was on a mute. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. So your dad, actually, I do know Ruben's dad, and I know him by way of his uncle, who is a good friend of mine, Che Muse. I actually had Che Muse he was one of our panelists last year at one of our claim adjuster workshops. I cannot remember which month it was. However, when you have time, for those who are listening, check out the TPAS TV YouTube page, and you'll be able to look at our claim adjuster workshops from the past. All right, so Ruben, with everything that you tried, again, going with the biology, trying the money game, the numbers game, what was it about adjusting, going into adjusting, coming into insurance that kind of piqued your interest? Why did you come this route?
Um, okay. Um, well, as I mentioned previously, I always had that feeling. I always wanted to get in a field that wanted to help people. My mother was a nurse. She worked in a hospital helping people. My father, he started as a real estate agent. He had a lot of properties. But my beginning story is kind of similar to yours. To give you guys context, I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana in '05. Hurricane Katrina came and destroyed my home, my childhood that I knew it at the time. We had to relocate to Atlanta, Georgia, and my father lost a lot, and we were essentially taken advantage of by the different insurance companies that we did have at the time. A lot of complicated policies, things that they weren't aware of, things they believed to be covered but weren't really covered. So we really did have to start over. But coming to Atlanta, Georgia, I forget how exactly my dad originally heard of claims adjusting, but he always tells me his motto is he wants to help people the way he wished he was helped. He wants to educate others the way he wished he was educated. So he's been doing that for a while. And recently, I was taking when I was home one semester for winter break. I worked a lot of odd jobs. I've always been, I would say, a hustler. I always I like to work. I like to make money, but and since I'm young and don't have too much experience, of course, I can only really get the little minimum wage jobs. I worked different pizza places, fast food restaurants, Walmart, grocery stocker, dishwasher at IHOP, Crackle Barrel, and I always want to provide the way I could, any way I could, but those jobs weren't really cutting it. I say I have a kind of expensive taste. I just like having nice things, but a lot of my paychecks could barely afford me like a nice pair of tennis shoes. So I definitely knew there was more out there. I'm always on social media. I'm seeing people younger than me, and they're doing great things. They're making a lot of money, and I'm just like, okay. I know I'm a smart kid. I believe I'm a smart kid. So it's like, what are they doing? What are they getting into that's different, and how can I get into those things? So I knew when we relocated to Atlanta, Georgia, my father, he was always a provider. Even though he had to start over, I knew I was in private school. I knew he can always afford the new video game that I wanted. So I was like, okay, my dad's definitely doing something right. I want to see how I could tap into what he's doing. And post COVID, he was home. And he was working remote. My I don't think he wants me to disclose his age, but he's getting up there. He's no longer in the field. He's preferring a more desk adjuster job role, a more remote role. So this was during the time when I first discovered. Well, I always knew of it, but once I started my interest in it, this was around the time Hurricane Ian happened. I believe a year and a half ago in Florida. He received a deployment, an assignment that was remote. They sent him a lot of tech equipment to our house. I helped him set up his home office, and I would just watch him work. Sometimes he had questions on the computer, and I always had a passion for computers. I would help him with that. I would listen into him. In his office, he would I downstairs. I would hear him like laughing and like he's having a party, and I was like, wait, isn't he supposed to be working? And I would check in on him. I was like, yo, Dad, you're currently working, right? He was like, yeah, I just got off the phone with a client. And you would think he knew these people for years, the way he would talk to the different clients. You would think they was family members, the way he was communicating with them. And that always intrigued me on how he could help people and have fun at the same time, doing exactly what he loves. So that's what sparked my interest. I asked him, yeah, how can I get involved in this industry? I shadowed him quite a bit. I seen the type of programs or softwares he was working with on a computer. I was like, this is definitely something I know I can do. And he put me in contact with TPAS and Mr. Arlene, and went through the mentorship. And I landed my first job 2 months after the mentorship. So I really had a fast track start, and I'm very grateful for that. I had a lot of great connects and a lot of people who was able to help me answer all my questions and mentor me in the right direction. So I'm very grateful for that.
Excellent, excellent. I'm just loving hearing all of this. 22, right? And I
Yes,
love
ma'am.
what you said about your dad, like listening to him sound like he's having a party when he's talking to the policyholders that he's working with. See, that's what I call the great foundation for a new adjuster to see for giving good customer service, because that's something that lacks not only in the insurance industry, but industries as a whole, right? And so to be able to connect with people while you're helping them in a time where they're highly stressed because they're in the midst of a disaster, because their home has been damaged or their property is lost, whatever the case may be, it's doable, everybody. Just so you know, it's doable, right? So just to give us a bit of a mile marker. You had odd jobs and you were doing things, and I know you started this off pretty early, but can just to so that we can put a little pin in the past,
Mhm.
what was your, I guess, highest earned salary yearly prior to becoming an adjuster?
Wow. Wow. Okay. 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 To answer that, the different jobs I was doing before claims adjusting, I was scraping $8, $9 an hour, working very hard every day after school, working, still doing classes and everything, maintaining that. So at the end of the week, I mentioned before I could barely afford like the shoes I wanted, $200 shoes I wanted, $100 shoes. So I was like that wasn't cutting it. But now fast forward today, I'm really making triple, quadruple that, right? With my current job I'm working, I'm making 35, 35 an hour, to disclose that, to be fully transparent, as a desk adjuster, working with Pilot Assurant, again as a desk adjuster. So again, I'm very grateful for that, making triple what I was doing. But I'm definitely, and it resonated with me, is the work is a lot better. I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing. Comfortable, excuse me, at home. But eventually, I plan on getting in the field, getting active in that as well. But this is a great start, building my foundation, learning all the different policies, how to educate and communicate with people. So again, very grateful for that. Yes.
And I'm glad that you really said that. It's like, hey, I'm doing desk now, but I want to move on to being in the field. I will say this for me, I actually started off also working from the desk, and then I went to the field. And I do think that that made me a better adjuster, because when you're looking at it from the desk perspective, you actually get to see what these field people are doing and what their estimates look like once they're turned in. And it kind of gives you an idea of, okay, I know what not to miss, right? I know what to make sure that I get, because I'm the one, as the desk adjuster, sometimes having to fix or revise the estimate because these things were forgotten or wasn't seen during the inspection, right? So I think that's really, really good. So if anybody, even if you want to start doing this and you want to jump into the field, don't be afraid to take a desk assignment if that's what you're being offered right out the gate. Because again, just like Ruben was saying, you're making, he went what, triple, quadruple. I gotta look at what that percentage is. I gotta plug that into my calculator here and see what $8, $9 versus 35 an hour does. Now also with that, you're not at $8 an hour, you're working what, 5 days a week, like a 40-day work week. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Versus now at $35 an hour, you're working, is it the standard 7 days a week, 12 hours a day? Are you on 6 days a week, 10 hours a day?
It does fluctuate. When I first got hired, and this was coming after Ian, there was a lot of volume with claims. So I was 7 days a week, but of course they're paying overtime, and I'm definitely not afraid of no overtime with higher pay. But now it's looked like currently for the past month or two, I've been 5 days a week. I get my weekends off now, get a little more rest, but the pay is still great. But yes, 5 days a week currently.
And for anybody who has any questions about that, so usually the form of adjusting that Ruben's doing, that I've been doing, that Gary is going to talk about, that he's been doing, it's what we call independent claims adjusting. So the insurance companies have their own adjusters. They're called staff adjusters. But when they become overwhelmed, they outsource those claims to independent adjusting firms who hire independent adjusters. And so as a result, sometimes we will get assignments where we have to work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. However, on an hourly rate, that does include um, um, time and a half or whatnot. So that's what he's saying. And sometimes you're locked into that schedule, but also if the claims start getting more manageable, then they will reduce our hours. I had an office that I worked in for pilot under Liberty Mutual that was like that. I ended up being one of the core adjusters. And so we would ramp up when the storms would pick up and work those 712s is what we call that for short, or 610s, which is 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. And then as things started becoming more manageable with the claims, it would die down and be like a normal work week. But yet we're still making that great hourly rate. So yes, even though it might be less hours, you're still making whatever, 35, 40, 45, some people almost $50 an hour. Doing that, and I like what you said, Ruben. I like what I do, and I think that's very key to doing this. People are looking for things sometimes as like a lick, right? But you do have to have a heart for customer service and customer attention. If you're going to do this, be successful and sustain a career in this industry and in this particular field that we're talking about. All right, Ruben, this was good. I like it. So let me ask you this, because I know we're moving fast. So, um, what would you say was the as doing this process from start to finish to where you are now? What would you say has been your biggest challenge so far?
Um, biggest challenge, I would say, I would say, um, really getting personal with my clients, having the correct sympathy with my clients. Because currently I work with personal property, and ALE, additional living expenses. So I'm dealing with a lot of clients who are very distraught. They experience traumatic events. I deal with different burglaries. I deal with total loss fires, different hurricanes as well. So I get a lot of phone calls on a daily basis of people. They call in crying. They call in very hurt. They're just looking for help. They're looking for instructions. And at first, I'm young. I was like, okay, I'm not a therapist, but I mean, they're looking for me for answers. They like to vent. So that was a lot at first. That was a lot. If I felt a little pressure at first. I definitely grew into it. I'm definitely getting better every day. Every day is different. But
Mm,
that did take some adjusting to me. Just understanding where they're coming from. Just being there for them, answering questions for them the best way I can. If I don't know something, I definitely don't want to make any broken promises, tell people the wrong information. I just like to set expectations up front. Let them know I'm here for them, answer all questions. But I would say that would have been one of the biggest challenges. Just being there for people, being a listening ear for the different clients, and I'm just instructing them, letting them know that things are okay, informing them on their policies. First, I had to know the policy well enough for myself to be able to explain it, but definitely getting better with that. That would have been one of my biggest challenges starting off.
hey, oh Lord, I thought I muted myself. I didn't. Yes, absolutely. I think that's really good to say too, is like how to handle people, because when you're when you have something that traumatic happen to you, and definitely, I don't know if it ever changes, the trauma is any less when it's the first time versus the third, right, or the second. um to be able to not internalize all of that sometimes negative energy that's coming at you, or that anxiety from people on the other end of the line, to be like, I'm here for you, calm down. You know what I mean? Not like, how people might get more irate if you say calm down, but basically like, I'm here for you. I'm here to, answer all your questions, soothe all your worries, your fears. Like, I got you, I got this. And you said something really key: knowing how to interpret the policy so that you can find the coverage that they need in order to pay them for their loss. Oh my God, Lord have mercy. We're gonna have to make a sound bite out of that one. Uh, because baby, Gary, no, folks just be making decisions out here all willy-nilly, doing whatever they want. Now, let me ask you this. When it comes to now that, well, have you ever worked, everything you've been doing from the desk has been from home, right? You haven't had to report to anybody's office. Is that correct?
Correct. Everything remote so far. Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. I'm going to have your dad also on a workshop too. I just want him to just share his story because he's had quite the journey. So let's talk about double back a little bit to these shoes that you wanted for yourself. Now
Yeah.
that you do have the income that you have, is there any issue, anything with what you want and what you need?
Not a single issue right now. I mentioned previously I'm taking a break from college. I definitely plan on finishing that degree. I was really close, but I was like, you might as well finish. I'm already in this kind of debt. I'm paying tuition, so I'm definitely planning on going back. But for these past couple months that I've been working as a claims adjuster, I really made enough. I could pay off all my tuition. I can contribute at the house. Yeah, absolutely. Could pay off all tuition, but yes, contribute to the house. I plan on moving out very soon, very soon. Just want to make sure the time is right on things with the economy and the housing. Is kind of throwing it off, but I want to make sure it's the right time. But I could definitely afford to do so. But yep, no problem with any issues, shoes. This was one of the first Christmases I actually could buy my family gifts, and that was a great feeling. Honestly, great feeling.
Mm.
No issues there. Eat whatever I want to eat. So again, I'm forever grateful. But no issues affording anything nowadays. And I'm young. I'm trying to be smart with my money. I'm getting into investing, putting money
Come
away for
on.
this to the side. So things like that. No issues there.
I almost want to say it louder for the people in the back. This young 22-year-old man just said he could pay off his college tuition, finish his degree. That means he won't have student loans that's collecting interest. You understand that he's still going to be paying off, even though the college can't even guarantee him a job. Huh? He had his first Christmas where he was able to buy gifts for his family, having that spirit of giving and how good that made him feel to be able to contribute and put smiles on his family's faces by giving them something and feeling good about, listen, I could do Christmas. Like for real, do Christmas. Now, let me ask you this. Any vacations planned?
Um, it's coming. It's coming. Definitely. I would have to take off work for that, but I definitely plan on doing so. My brother, he actually just recently passed his bar exam. He's going the attorney route, and he wants to celebrate by going to Jamaica very soon. I believe in February or March, when the weather is
Mm-hmm.
right. We plan on going to Jamaica, and I definitely don't have to ask my parents to pay for my trip. I believe I could pay for my own trip and actually enjoy myself there, doing different activities out there. So that will be the next vacation going up. But so far, I've been so focused on work, I haven't even thought about it. But I definitely look forward to that vacation coming up for sure.
That's what's up. And he about to move out his parents' house, y'all. Some of y'all got
Absolutely.
40-year-old sons still there. I ain't said anyhow. Anywho, okay, I'm just asking about travel because you got some world travelers up in here on the panel board. Myself, of course, and Gary Smith over there looking like, okay, he making A-Rap money. All right.
Mhm.
Just saying. All right. So yeah, but this is the thing. I'm asking about all these things because a lot of times I'll say this at the state that we're at in our community, right? People are still just, even in 2024, people are still just barely getting by. And the things that are out there for us to do are still, really base level positions, 8, 9, $10 an hour. Now, thankfully, they're raising wage, but you are with that. We already have increase in everything, commodities, food, gas, clothes, the whole shebang. So it's like that's just going to go up with this increase of living wage as well, and people are going to be still living below the poverty line even at $15 an hour, right? And so it's important to make note of this stuff, of what Ruben is saying, because he's able to really live, right? Not just working his whole life to pay bills only to have a GoFundMe to be buried when the time comes, right? But actually being able to, like he said, invest. Take money and put it aside, save it, invest it, let it collect interest, let the money make money for you. This is not about get rich quick at all, right? You got to work hard for this, right? You got to go to class, you got to study, you got to pass a test, you got to go apply for your license, and then you got to hustle up on the gig. But once you get there, And if you have the great customer service, you're learning how to interpret the policy, you're providing what they need as far as paying for those claims within the policy limits and the policy provisions, they're going to keep you around, because every industry needs good workers, right? People who have a heart for what they do, and they take pride in doing a good job. You can go so absolutely very far in this industry, and I already know, Ruben, you're gonna excel. You're getting started way earlier than what we did. I started at 25, and here I am now, right? And so I already know, especially with having the support of your father, having the support. Ruben actually has a few cousins as well who has trained, and now they're adjusters, uncle, auntie, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. And then let me ask you this. Now, you said you got your gig in 2 months. How did that happen? How did it happen so fast?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because right out of the mentorship, really TPAS was able to give me the full blueprint on exactly what I needed to do to get started. They first gave me that great foundation with getting the reciprocal license, and once I had that, I just started applying. I got a couple licenses under my belt just after the first couple days of the classes. Started with my Georgia license, of course, that's where I live. Florida, got the Louisiana license, Carolina license. So got a few under my belt. Paid, invested in myself, got those licenses. I started applying to different firms from the list given from TPAS, just getting my name out there.
Yes.
Of course, the resume. I had some experience working with my father. Miss Charlene helped me with my resume, dress it up, putting the right things on there that the different firms and companies like to see. And that I had the blueprint out the gate, resume, the licenses, certifications, and just started applying. And I don't believe in luck, but my definition of luck is just when preparation meets opportunity. So
Come on now.
I was fully prepared for that. So once opportunity came, like I mentioned, it was really because of Hurricane Ian. They were looking for a lot of adjusters. My resume was in a great spot. They hired me on, and of course, I had to learn a lot. I didn't know everything up front. It was a little intimidating, but every day, like the name in itself, you have to adjust. You got to be flexible, and of course, I have a great community of support that I can ask any questions on. And I'm when the job assignment started, they first hired around 20 adjusters, and it's a very I don't know if cutthroat is the word, but it's definitely it's kind of like a survival of the fittest. So it was 20 adjusters starting off, but week after week you would see someone drop off. Either it was too much for them to handle, or they weren't producing like they would produce. And I'm grateful to this day that I'm one of the top 5 adjusters left. So we started with 20. I was getting to know all of my different coworkers, but we're down to the last 5 and we're still going strong. So again, very grateful for that. But I am making it and learning every day.
Hopefully you'll end up being a part of that core team, and that's what I would like to manifest for you today, is that is a goal that you end up achieving, and that way you can just, hey, stay in rotation, get your name out there, and the people who need to know you, like the managers and folks in deployment, they will. And when it's time, be like, who we gonna call? Are we calling Ruben? Yeah, go ahead, call Ruben. All right, gonna call Mr. Dickens. He ready to go. That's beautiful. I love that. So let me say this, or let me ask you this. What words of advice, because you did start this fairly young. You are one of the youngest adjusters that I have trained and that I do know. Gary over there, like, man, listen, 22, Gary, if you would have started at 22, listen.
Mm-hmm.
What? Because this is gonna be recorded. It's gonna go on YouTube. And again, after this workshop is over, hopefully I'll have time to kind of share some of the developments that we've made. So we're gonna be really reaching out to more, younger people to get into this industry. Any words of advice that you would like to give them, or anything that you would like to say that may encourage those who may be on the fence, thinking about it, or don't even know this opportunity exists, and that you would like to share?
Absolutely, absolutely. I would say I would definitely recommend claims adjusting. Definitely. I wish more people knew about it. I definitely wish I tapped into it even earlier than I did. My father was always doing it. I just knew he worked with insurance. He made good money here and there. But recently I started becoming really interested in it as much as I could see he was really enjoying it. But I would say that if you are going to get into it, you would have to be self motivated. You would need to know your reasons why. Like I said, it is very lucrative, but it's not nothing get rich quick or anything like that. You definitely have to work. You definitely got to want it. But I once you know your reason why, and my why, my biggest motivator is my parents. As I mentioned, they're getting up there. I'm not going to say their age, but they had to start over, so their retirement plan is kind of behind. So they're still clocking in to this day. My mother, especially, working hard every day, getting up, and they're nearing 70s. So definitely, my reason why was them. I definitely want to be there to support them, get them to cut back and kind of relax a little more now and enjoy their retirement. But I would say you need to know your reason why. You have to be self motivated. You do have to be able to adjust. Every day is different. You get different calls from all kinds of different cultures, all kinds of different people. You just got to understand where they're coming from and work with them. You got to be informed on the different cultures and how to sympathize with them, because everybody has their own different experience, their own journey. They come from different backgrounds, but just being there, understanding that, you could definitely thrive in this industry. Just having that good customer service, being there to communicate with others. Um, I would say that is big though. Being self motivated for sure.
Yes, absolutely. That self-motivation is key. We would like to make it easy for you, but at the end of the day, you got to get it how we got to get it, and we got it out of we done made stuff out of woven things out of whole cloth. Okay, we done got it. What they say, got it out the mud. Is that what they say?
Hello. Yeah,
Is that what the kids? Is that what the young children are
that's
saying?
what we say. That's what we say. Yeah, yeah.
You got to get it out the mud, but you're going to appreciate that accomplishment way more knowing that, like, I did this, I hustled, I went for it, and I got it, right? um I think that's it. Anything else you want to say, Ruben? And I'm gonna ask for Gary's opinion on this one. Okay, this was good, Gary, wasn't it? Mm-hmm.
It was very good. I'm jealous. 22. I'm jealous.
22, man. Come on,
I'm
man.
blessed. I'm blessed. I'm grateful. I'm grateful, but I'm definitely grateful to TPAS for putting me in this position. Because I literally when I first got hired with the firm, all the different lessons with TPAS with Miss Charlene, they resonated with me. We was dealing with additional living expenses. I was dealing with a lot of that, and we went over that extensively during the course. We had different worksheets. As It's one thing to say the concept, but I'm the type to need to apply it for it to catch. But we had all the different worksheets that really had it resonate with me. And day one on the job, I dealt with a lot of claims for additional living expenses, hotel costs, different food and grocery expenses. And I knew exactly what was covered, what was not covered, and I was able to educate them on that. So I'm really grateful for TPAS for putting me in this position. I would say they were one of the biggest factors that excel me into the point I am at today, for sure.
Did you notice if you were like ahead of the curve of the rest of the adjusters that had came in with you?
I would say so. I'm glad you said that. Because I'm definitely one of the youngest on the team, and I would hear some of the questions others were asking, and I would just say to myself like, "Oh yeah, Miss Charlene taught me that already. Oh yeah, I know that already." So I would sit
Mm.
quiet in the meetings. They're like, "Ruben, you're there." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. Like I'm ready to work. Like I'm fine." And they would ask different questions. They're double my age, but it was amazing to me how I'm just getting started, but some things I just already knew out the gate, and some things people just it took them a while to catch on to certain concepts. So I did notice that.
Yeah, I think that's also because I'm noticing something that's been a pattern for the last couple of really since we started doing this, started training adjusters, is I've had a lot of adjusters come back to me being like, man, I don't know, no shade to these other training companies that's out here, but like I don't know who train them, but they ain't know nothing. And I'm sitting up here thinking, y'all ain't get that in pre-licensing, or adjusters on their very first storms or their first assignments being of the last people to leave. And that usually, like when we started, that was not the case. It's like you get on your very first storm, you're usually gone in the first 30 days, and you're usually a part of the first few cuts. But I'm noticing that the folks that we're training, they're ending up being like the cleanup crew. They end up going straight into core staff, or they get promoted to team lead very as they go along in their very first assignments. And I think that that has a lot to say about, not to toot our own horn, but to toot about the caliber of the training, because you can get training from anywhere. We're not the only company out here training folks to be insurance claims adjusters. But as I have always, I was just telling somebody in our contents class this week, I said, honey, I have no competition. Okay, because what we deliver is above what anybody else out there is giving. Okay, it's giving spectacular over here at TPAS. Anywho's, hi. Okay. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you
Absolutely.
for encouraging everyone and sharing your story. And just so we can just add your money up real quick. All right, so we talked about $8, $9, $10, 8, 8, 9 an hour in the past with
Hmm.
a 40-hour week. So let's do the math on this real quick,
Let's
because
do it.
folks
Let's
like to
do it.
know about the money. That's
Right.
bringing $320 weekly for
Yep.
a 40-hour week.
Sounds right.
Versus, now we know you've done 7/12s with the OT. Right now you're on what, 5 days a week? How many hours a day?
10 hours a day. Yep. Five days a week currently.
Okay, so if we do 10 hours, so that's 10 hours overtime every week, right? So the 35 a week, 35 an hour at 40 hours is 1,400. Okay,
Uh-oh.
so
Uh-oh.
Trouble is right. All right,
Hmm.
but then we still got to add your OT time and a half. 35 divided by 2, that's $17 and 50 cents plus 35. Okay, that's $52 and 50 cents for every hour you work overtime, sir. Times 10. Plus that's 525 plus the, what was the first number? 1,400.
1,400. Yes.
Okay, so you've gone from making $320 a week to making $1,925 a week, and it's slow for you right now.
Yes.
Hello,
Come on.
hello.
Come on.
God good.
Yes, he
Ain't he
is.
good? All right, all the time.
All the time.
Gary, what you doing? Calculating over there? I see you. Wait a minute. At 22, y'all, which comes out to how much monthly? Now we don't know what the taxes are, but 1925 a week times an average of 4 weeks a month, $7,700 a month. You work the whole year. How many months you been working so far?
So far, March 7, 8 months, 8 or 9 months. Yep.
So this man done worked 8 months. Let's say 8. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
8 at these limited hours, because we know he had time where he worked even more hours and got more money. But let's just say at this 1925 weekly, that comes out for 8 months to $61,600 in 8 months. We have people who are working all year long, not taking any vacations, and not even coming up to this amount. I'm just saying, this is what we doing over here, you all. So let's just, I'm just want the rubber to meet the road. All right, we're gonna have, the talk and the inspirational side, but I know y'all want the brass tacks. That's the only reason why I'm giving it to you. We know we making money over here. I don't really like talking about it a lot, but I know people like to hear about it. So just letting you know, and that's as a desk adjuster. He hasn't even gone into the field yet. We're about to hear from Gary, and Gary gonna tell you what this field money do, okay? Because Gary just can't. I ain't gonna. Make it a rap buddy. Okay, anyhow. Anywho, Ruben, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for just being open and transparent and sharing with us your experience. I look forward to hearing. We're gonna do this probably again, maybe about another year or two. Let's see where you at then. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the growth, and I love that. Any last words, Ruben? I know I've been asking a lot of questions. Is there anything you would like to say?
Just just very grateful. Just very grateful for TPAS and putting me in this position. I wouldn't have done it any other way. I have some friends who's still currently in college. who's still questioning their career paths, and they're just like, Ruben, you took a break from school, but like, how are you surviving out here? And I'm telling them what I'm doing, and a lot of them are getting interested. They're looking at the money aspect, but I'm definitely telling them it is more than that. But I'm sparking their interest, and have a lot of my friends. They're all proud of me doing what I'm doing. I'm probably making more than everybody in my previous class, and they're working very hard doing what they're doing. But again, I'm just all glory to God. I'm very grateful, but
Yes.
definitely looking forward to that growth coming soon. Excited. I want to hear about Mr. Gary's story and how he's doing in the field, because that's my next stage. That's the next chapter that I want to head into as well.
Thank you so much, Ruben. For everybody who can, please give Mr. Ruben Dinkins a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. All right. Does anybody have any questions before we move on to Gary Smith? Anybody? I'm looking in the chat right now. I'm going to leave some time also at the end for questions. So if you can't think of anything right now, that's okay. You can always ask it in the chat later. You can always reach out to us via email. Ruben, now I know you have a Facebook. I know you probably don't pay a lot of attention to it. If anyone has any questions, is it okay for them to reach out to you and ask?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. You can my Facebook is just my first and last name, Ruben Dinkins. You can add me on there. And I'll add you back and answer any questions. But I don't want to give my number out on this one, but definitely
It's fine.
contact me on Facebook for sure. Or send me an email. I have an adjuster email if that's the way you want to contact me. It's my last name, Dinkins adjusting at gmail.com. You can send me anything. I'm always available. I can answer any questions, and we can get in contact like that as well.
And Ruben, I am putting your email in the chat as well as your name. I think I just spelled your name wrong and put the E before the U or the U before the E. I'm sorry. And I know
It's
how to
all
spell
good.
it right.
It's all good.
I made your certificate of completion. I should
You
know
did.
how to
You
spell
did.
it.
You
I
did.
apologize, everyone. That is Ruben with an E-U, B-E-N, Dinkins. Okay. And
That's
if I
right.
might have said Jenkins, please forgive me because I'm picking up my mother's traits and renaming people. So please charge it to my head and not to my heart. Okay. All right. Let me see. I'm just checking to see if there's any more question. If anybody has any questions, I'm not seeing anything. Okay, we're gonna move on. Gary, why you ain't take me with you when you, I mean, I know you got to go with your boo though, you know what I'm saying? But it's okay. We need y'all. And this is what I was talking to Jason Shepard about last night. I was like, you know how a couple of years ago I was like, we need an adjuster cruise for TPAS.
Mm.
Like when we all get up, you know what I'm saying, and get our money right, we gonna do like a group cruise. Oh, it's gonna be
Okay.
soon becoming a reality. I just want to let y'all know that. All right. Because baby, what we doing over here, we gonna take it to the moon, take it to the stars. All right. Okay. Next up, we have the wonderful, the talented, the hilarious with the YouTube videos and the Facebook posts. Talking about some hi Gary Smith. Okay. And again, I won't say much. I want Gary to really share and talk about his story, how he got started. I want you all to hear from him because he has an incredible story as well. Gary has actually been a panelist for us a few times now. Before we were the Claims Adjuster Workshop, this event was called the Adjuster Life Symposium. So we switched up the name a little bit. You know, we had the pandemic happen, and so we had to go virtual, and here we are. Gary, what you been up to?
I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited that you have me. I like to tell people, what's going on and what's potentially out there, especially Ruben, you know, what you can actually do in the field. So I'll start off in the beginning. I got licensed, I believe, in 2016. And I like to call myself, which is probably bad, but the lazy adjuster, because they have the whole blueprint for you to do and all the firms and all the licenses. And I'm like, ah, I do one or two things. Then I'm just gonna work my regular little job while I was delivering flowers and serving people court papers in St. Louis. So, Hurricane Harvey happened and they called and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna go. And it's crazy because I tell my kids, and I tell other people's kids, like, there's so much information on the internet. The whole world, you could probably figure out how to do brain surgery on the internet. It's so much stuff on the internet. So for someone that's serious about it, you don't have to go in blind. But I went in blind, and I had my first deployment to Texas, kind of Houston area, and it was. I wanted to cry every day, but it was hard, right? I hadn't been on a roof since I was cleaning gutters when I was a kid, and I'm just like, and writing estimates. It was really hard. Thinking back now, it's funny how easy that could have been if I knew what I was doing. But everything, tying your shoe is hard when you don't know how to do it. So, but went to Texas. That was a nightmare, but I did it. I made a little bit of money. I was making like $36, 30 something like that an hour, which was a lot of money at the time. But now thinking about it, it's like, yeah, it's okay. But whatever. We'll get to that. So anyway, I was doing that in Texas, and then I left Texas, took my ladder off my car. I was like, "Whoo, that was traumatizing." And then I get a call like 2 weeks later to go to California to work fires, but I was working content, so I wasn't. So I was like, I can't write an estimate for a whole burned down house. But no, you can do contents. Okay, so I did contents, and I had that training from TPAS, so it was just made it. And I was actually, even though it was my second deployment, and I literally never had really done contents, I was like a leader in the room because there's a bunch of new people too. But I was like telling people, hey, you should do it like this way, and you should do it, and just talking on the phone, building that rapport, like Ruben said. They didn't have us do, well, we did have to do a little bit of the additional living expenses, but mostly contents. And I mean, you talk about a whole house get burned down, there's thousands and thousands of things on that list that you have to do. So, it was fun. I was amongst one of the last people there. I wasn't the last, but I was in the group that, was people leaving. And I'm like, I'm still here. Still here. I was there through the holidays. And it was my first time, really, yeah, first time in California. Spent Christmas there, Thanksgiving, birthday. I think I left on New Year's. No, I think I was there for the New Year. So that was crazy. I made some decent money. Like Ruben said, I was working 7/12. It was field content, so we had a lot of office time, but we had a lot of times where we could leave the office because we had to go meet with an insured. Hey, sometimes we would go meet with an insured for real, but it wouldn't take 4 hours. But sometimes, California's traffic. So that was kind of the field aspect. So we got to go out and be in the field. We did. I went to apartments and looked at things, and okay, yeah, it's pretty smoky in here. We'll pay for your clothes to get clean. So that was fun. And then I mean, I wrote down I've been deployed 12 times, so I'm not gonna go all on all of them, but I've had 10 in the field and then two at home. So, but to go into me, that probably makes me different from Ruben is, he got in early. But I wasn't really trying. I don't know if I was scared or complacent, but when I do work, I work hard. I don't want to say that I'm just lazy when I get a job. When I get a job, I'm a dog. But when I'm not working or if I just feel like I need to chill, I just chill. What Charlene said with my TikTok videos and my YouTube video, I live in a soft life when I'm not working. But when I'm working, I'm trying to be the best person on in the assignment. So I work some home positions, which is okay, a lot of hourly positions. And then I recently, I think in 2020, which is a pandemic year, and I didn't start working adjusting until the latter half of the year, maybe August. 2020 was my first year making over 100,000. Now, that was some adjusting, some unemployment because we was getting that little extra unemployment from the government during the pandemic, but there wasn't that much. So most of that was going to be from me working, and I was making $45 an hour, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, because I was on the steep and high team because I'm not scared of getting on steep and high roofs, so they pay me a little extra. So that was my first time getting over that $100,000 mark, and that really, like I said, that was during the pandemic. Everything was shut down. Early on, we didn't know what was going on. We were like, "Can you get it from just going outside?" So being an essential worker is kind of nice too. But so that was I went to Chicago and worked that assignment, and then 2021. I mean, the numbers just keep going up. and I'm getting more comfortable with actually working. Still not really. I have adjuster friends that they go out and buy all the licenses and do all the certifications, and I'm like, nah, not me. It's just some places I don't want to go. For me, people say you don't have Louisiana. I don't want to go to Louisiana. You don't have Florida. I don't want to go to Florida. And those are places get hit. But when you're independent, you can kind of choose where you want to go, when you want to go. You know, they say, hey, you want to go to Minnesota? It's too cold. I don't want to go into Minnesota right now. I'll go in the summer. When you're independent, you can do these things. And also, if you make money, manage your money the right way, hey, I'll just wait. I was in Ohio last year, and it switched from it was a 6-12, which was okay because having an off day when you're in the field. And me, again, I'm a dog about it. So I'm not working 12 hours a day. I'm working 14, 15, 16 hours a day because I'm trying to be the best. So I'm trying to be there the longest. They switched it from 6-12, 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, to 5-10. And I was like, that's just too low. I can't do it. So they said, okay, well, and you can choose, right? Some people would have stayed, not me. I thought about it. I was like, well, I'm already here. But I just did the numbers, and the numbers weren't numbering. So I was like, it's just not enough money, which I'm glad I did leave because then I had a really good opportunity after that. But I, for me, it's funny because when I'm working, like I said, I'm a dog. When I'm not working, I'm chilling. And if I decided to like keep that dog attitude and get all my licenses and certifications, I don't even have an adjuster's resume, which is sad. And I've been deployed 12 times. And I think I have a copy that I've gotten, but I don't even have a adjuster's resume. That's how lazy I am about it, which I'm not telling you to be lazy, but I'm just saying what could happen when you say you're blessed or you just fortunate or whatever it is. And I do have good customer service. I talk to people like me, my managers like me. Sometimes you just got the gift, even if you're lazy. But so I don't have a justice resume. I don't have, probably don't even have, I might have 7 licenses, 8 licenses. But last year was a good year for me. I think last year I made gross like 190, and I worked 7 months. So in 7 months, making 190 is, it kind of changes in that. And again, that wasn't hourly. I did go ahead and switch to what's called component when you get paid based on percentages. And that kind of changed my look because been, like I said, on 12 deployments. And I've worked component before when I was a younger adjuster. I didn't really know what I was doing, so I wasn't moving as fast. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that when you first jump in, just because you can kind of hurt yourself. But now that I'm a little bit more seasoned, 12 deployments, it's a lot of claims I've seen. I was able to go ahead and capitalize. I mean, I made some checks that I still look at the PDF like, wow, I made $20,000 in a week. Wow, that's a week. So, but again, that's working. That's being a dog. Other people, they own the same component that I'm on, and they like, well, I got an off day. I'm gonna take a personal day. And I'm like, I'm working every day. I'm working 4 or 5 claims a day every day. Really? Yeah. This is this is the time to work because I know when I'm not gonna work, I'm gonna chill. And again, 7 months last year were at 190. I think that's just crazy. I mean, I didn't even think that was possible, to be honest. I mean, I heard about numbers when I came into it that were crazy, but I was like, those are one-offs. That's not gonna be me. I'm cool with making 100. If I can get to 100, if I can get to 80, I'll be straight. And just thinking like I made $100,000 over 80 in 7 months. So, you know, that's not always gonna happen, I'm sure, but my trajectory has been going up year after year since 2020. Well, since I started, really, you know, 80, 90, 100, 150, 160. So it's just been going up. It's been wild. The field is different. I mean, the field you have to, like you said, you have to be a self-starter motivator because they're not watching you. They're watching you, but they're not on you. If you want to go to the field and make, like I said, I made like about $77,000 in 3 months of that. So, but there's somebody else that was probably there that probably made half that just because they weren't pushing as hard. They wanted to do 2 claims a day instead of 4 or 5 claims. So, and no one's going to yell at them. You want to make, that's what you want to make. So, I like the independence of being in the field. We're already independent adjusters, so you're even more independent because you just go and make your schedule. And if you want to start at 7, start at 7. You want to start at 9? Okay. You want to start at 10? All right. That's on you. So hourly is different. They're on you a little bit harder when you're on hourly, but I think now I can't really see myself making going hourly unless it's going to be. I worked in New Jersey where it was a lot of stuff going on at the time in the country, so they were paying us $68. They were paying some people $68 an hour. So I would work that because that's about $21,000 a month. So I can handle that. But 35 an hour, even 45, I kind of turn my nose up like, I don't know, just to kind of depend on where I'm going to be at because that might not be enough money for me. I need to be able to go ahead and make 25,000, 30,000, really $30,000 a month is kind of where $1,000 a day is like where I would like to be kind of from now on if I'm going to work, you know. But you got to spend some taste. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, that's kind of what I have so far.
Did you just snuff your nose at 35 an hour?
I can't do it. It's too low.
Did
I
you
won't even.
just say? Did you just say I don't want to do hourly unless I'm making around 68 an hour? Did you just say if I'm not making $1,000 a day because that's the level that I'm at now, that you can just keep the job, I'm turning the job down? Gary, I can't even handle it. I can't even handle it. And the crazy thing is, I'm like, finally, somebody who's like me. Because when I tell you I snuffed at $35, I snuff at it as well. Because
I
I'm
don't
like,
even.
the
I
level
can't
I'm
even.
on, how dare you give it to a newbie? Don't give it to me. Not with my experience. Listen.
I won't even.
Gary can
I
say
won't
that.
even. I won't even tell nobody else about that. They text me and say 35 an hour. I won't even say, oh, maybe somebody else. I'm not giving that to nobody else. I look at that and keep doing what I'm doing.
You're not even recommending it to no one else. Like, nah,
No,
y'all
it's
got
too
to come
little.
with more money.
Yeah, too little.
Listen. That's all. Ruben, you hear this? You hearing it? This your future. You looking at your future right now. All right. You looking at your future. Ruben said, I want to listen to Gary, see what he got to say. Because the numbers you just dropped is astounding. $61,000 in 8 months. Gary just said 7 months, 190. Listen, this is real, you all. We're not fake. We real people. Go call my mama, my
Listen,
brother, my aunties, my uncles. Listen, at 22 years old, I was if anybody's from St. Louis, at 22 years old, I was a cocktail. I graduated. I pursued political science as my degree in college. I graduated and could not find a job in the field of politics. I couldn't get a job with the city. I couldn't get a job with the county. I couldn't get a job with the state. I could not get a job. I was testing well. I was interviewing well. They still would not hire me. I ended up being a cocktail waitress at a hood club off of Jefferson called Sprues. You remember Sprues, don't you?
mhm.
I was a waitress at Sprues selling drinks, huh? And serving people chicken and fried plates. Don't play with me. And this is where we are now. Okay. Now, Gary, I want them tell them a little bit about the progression though. What did you do before Justin? How much was you making before Justin?
So before Justin, I was delivering flowers. I was like 6 days a week, and usually I had to supplement that with something else. I was a process server, or I was doing something else, freelance, doing stuff with the flower shop. So I was probably making 40,000 a year. You know, it was some under the table money, so maybe government don't know about that. So maybe 45, 47,000, a year. And that was okay. it's funny how you can get by with that when you think, I mean, that's all you know. So that's what you had to do. And like you said, the progression, even working, like you said, like Ruben said, making $36 an hour from making, $7 a flower delivery. You're like, wait a minute, this is people make this kind of money, $36 an hour, and you even have like a sense of pride to tell people, well, what do you do? I'm an insurance adjuster. You got a sense of pride. Is no knock on nobody else other than I work at Chick-fil-A. Nothing wrong with Chick-fil-A. I like Chick-fil-A, but it's your sense of pride of telling people what you do.
That's right.
I'm an insurance adjuster, and even telling people you're an independent, because a staff adjuster will look at you, oh, independent, you must got money, because they know the difference in pay. It could be there. I'm pretty sure there's no staff adjusters that's making 190 in 7 months. I don't think so. But and that could be a one-off. I don't think so, because again, I'm not licensed in every state. I'm not going and get certifications, taking private classes, and taking Xactimate classes. I, granted, 12 deployments, thousands of claims. I'm getting better. I'm not just saying, oh man, he just regular. I wouldn't consider myself to be a regular adjuster. Just even the way I talk to people. Some people don't have those interpersonal skills. They can't de-escalate. They just don't care. I do care, but the money is always the motive. I mean, like you said, the why. The money. I like expensive things. I like going places. So I went to Dubai last year. I'm going to Costa
Say
Rica
it. I
this
was waiting
year.
on it. I was waiting on it. You
Dubai was a
went where
nice
last
trip.
year?
I went to
What was it?
Dubai. It was a good time. It was one of those trips where the girlfriend said she wanted to go, and I said, "All right, let's go." It wasn't like, "Oh, wait, how much is this going?" I didn't even ask how much it was going to cost. Just like, let's go, let's go. So, um, and we had a good time. We had a good time there too. It wasn't like we can't do this because it's gonna be. We had a good time. So, um, same gonna be for Costa Rica this year. Went to Mexico last year. I was working a desk assignment when I went to Mexico, and I told the people, I said, "Hey, I already got a trip to Mexico. So as an independent, it's like, hey, y'all can let me go, and I get a job when I come back, or y'all can keep me on, and I can go and come back." And they were like, "Oh, well, we'll just keep you on. You can go and come back." And that's really not, And I was asking people, my peers, like, you think they're gonna let me off for that many days? And they were like, "No, nah, they don't let nobody off for more than 3 days."
Not unless you're good.
They let me off, and I was gone for 4 days. So I mean,
If
and
you're
I don't even
good,
think I was
they
the
don't
top
want to
guy on
let
the
you go,
team.
even if you got to take a little break. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Mhm.
um, you got to get in there and do the good work. You got to grind. It's a grind. If someone's gonna tell you that this is an easy job, maybe it could be easy for some people, because some people have different tolerances. But I don't think it's an easy job. I don't think making 190 in 7 months is supposed to be easy.
Right.
Um, even when I made 100,000, it wasn't easy. I was in Chicago in the winter. It was Chicago. It was cool, but it wasn't easy. So if you're looking for something easy, maybe I see some of my coworkers, and it seems like they do an easy job. Now they're not there for a long time. They're not the last ones to stay. And out of my deployments, I've been last probably more than half. So,
Mm.
I'm usually the last guy, the last Mohican, as my dad would say. I don't know if that's politically correct anymore, but
I know, right?
I was
Ugh. Yeah.
I was the last guy there. So I mean, that's that's the kind of lifestyle change, you can do. Like I said, I have expensive taste, so I can't just say, "Oh man, he made 190. If I'm making 40, I take off the next 4 years," because I wish, but I like to buy stuff. I like expensive toys.
Yeah, you
So
get more money,
you're gonna start to
upgrade
spend
your
more
whole lifestyle. Ain't nobody sitting up there trying to live off the bare minimum.
money.
What?
No,
We gonna
no,
get
no,
another. We
no.
gonna get another 190 when we go back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
What you saying?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Right. So it's been an incredible journey for me. I didn't think it was possible. I mean, I heard people were making six figures in this, but I was like, those are probably, people that are special. I don't think I'm special. I don't think I'm gifted. I don't think I'm especially intelligent, but I try to do things. I try to work hard. I want to be, you don't have to be the smartest, but I want to be the hardest working person in the room when I'm in the room. So that's that's what I did when I work. That's what I do when I work, not just when I did what I do. So
And then, how old were you with Ruben being 22, me being 25? How old were you when you came to licensing class? I don't think
I,
I ever.
I think it was 32. Yeah.
And if I remember right, wasn't it like on your very first storm, you had to like borrow your dad's credit card or something like that? Like you
Oh
had to borrow
yeah.
something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like you said, out the mud. I had to borrow money. I I had to get on a payment plan to pay him back. It was rough, but he was like, hey, he's the one that told me about it because he knew we had a friend of the family that was in it. He was like, go ahead, all right. I'm gonna need your credit card to get down to Texas. I can't get down there. I'm gonna need
That's
it. I'm gonna
wonderful
need your credit card
support.
to go
That's
buy a
wonderful.
ladder. Yeah, I
Right.
had to use that to go buy my
And you was
equipment.
able to give dad his card back after the first storm, right? Give him his
Yeah,
card back.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, pay him off. Pay him back. Then you get didn't you buy a truck or something right after that, shortly after
I
the
I did I
first
did
or
buy another
second storm?
vehicle because I wasn't, some people do it as a career, right? They just say I'm full on insurance adjuster. I still was straddling the fence early on, so I still was between deployments. I would deliver flowers, so I needed a van, so I would just go buy a cash van to deliver my flowers, and then deployment come, I'd say, hey, I gotta go, take my van to wherever part of the country I needed to go to, and I would do my
Mm,
work and then come back and get back on. I wasn't, and I don't know if I'm gonna say I'm not full in. I just know what I want to do and what the money I want to make. So, I still haven't bought all the licenses. I still, because I don't think you necessarily need to. I mean, if you want to work, I don't necessarily want to work all year round. That ain't really my
mm,
goal. I like
mm,
taking off some months,
mm,
out the year.
mm.
7 months. I mean, I was off for 5.
Right.
So,
Chilling.
I
Bills
I
paid.
don't want to. I don't. I have friends that they want to work all. They have to work. Their lifestyle is built around having to make a certain amount of money, so they got to work all year. That ain't my testimony. I want to work like a teacher. I want to be off for some time, and
Right.
so again, it's places too I don't want to go. And they call and say, hey, something hit Florida. Don't matter to me. I'm not going to Florida. I don't want to go to Florida. I'll go to
Dang.
South Carolina. I'll go to North Carolina. But I don't want to go to Florida. I go to Georgia anytime. I like Georgia. But certain places I don't want to go. So but of course, the money get too high. You got to do what you got to do. Because I didn't want to go to New
Right.
Jersey. I didn't want to go to New Jersey with $68 an hour at 12. Because that's $100 an hour in overtime. So
Right.
that was about that $1,000. I think that was about that $1,000 a day mark. It was close.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go drive to New Jersey, but I did the math. Yeah, I go to New Jersey for that. Yeah,
Hmm.
we'll go for that. So it's been a great experience. The field work. Like I said, I've done desk work too. It was okay. I did it from home, so that was nice. But being logged into them phones all day and you can't leave and you got to be tethered to it. I just pros and cons, I guess. Well, that was a tough one for me, especially because I got 10 deployments in the field. That's where I want to be at. I want to be out there. I want to be on the roof. I enjoy climbing roofs and being in people's houses, which may sound weird, but I do enjoy that part, seeing people in person. So
And you have plenty of time to make your YouTube videos in between inspections.
I do, I do.
And so now, and then didn't you just recently buy a house, right?
I did. I bought a house last year. I was in, oh, I forgot a deployment. So 13 deployments. I was in Seattle, Washington. I forgot about that one. So I was in Washington and then I bought a house here in St. Louis and they sent somebody out. I did the notary and I bought the whole house and was in a whole other state working and I was getting paid. They probably don't know, but I was getting paid my hourly $45 an hour while I was outside of my house and paperwork. So, so bought a house, and I had to get a truck for the job, so no more vans. I kind of miss my van life, but had to get me a pickup truck because I got stuck in a hole in the back country road of Georgia. I spent some hours in that. Don't drive through standing water. We all know that, but I learned my lesson. So, yeah, I had to buy a truck so I can get myself out of holes this time. So I've definitely upgraded my life. It's been nice to be in my circle of friends, people they can call and say, hey, you know, my friend recently asked, I shouldn't even tell him, but he asked me, he was like, can I borrow some money? I was like, yeah, what you need, man? He was like, this is a lot. I'm like, what you need? He was like, $1,200. I'm like, all right, it's in your cash app. And he was like, really? I'm like, but going back to the delivery days, he would have had a hard time getting $120 out of me because I was like, I don't know if I can do it. But it's been nice to be more of a stable person in the community, in my community anyway. I can help out my people. I was in a situation where my dad was going. I had some things happen real quick, and I was like, man, I think I might need to borrow some money. He was like, what you need? 10,000? I know you're gonna pay me back. And he was right, that I could have paid him back in a heartbeat. So that's kind of the numbers change when people know you got it, because most people not gonna let you borrow $10,000. Because when you gonna get it back? But I could have paid him back that next paycheck. So, it's been a change for me. I really been enjoying it. It's hard work. I'm not gonna tell nobody it's not hard work. It's hard work. I mean, 16 hours, 17 hours a day, working all night, waking up at 6, going to bed at midnight for months. But it's rewarding, and that's the big part because you can work hard. I feel like I work hard at all the jobs I've ever had, and it's not been this rewarding. So,
I think also a good point to make too is with you saying, hey, last year I worked 7 months and I made 190. A lot of people are under the false impression that you can only make numbers like that if it's one of those big, huge catastrophes like a Katrina or the combination of which, like what we had with, I think it was Maria, Michael, and something, and Harvey all came back to back. A
right.
lot of people's like think that's because there's Facebook groups and different groups out there, and there's some naysayers who are in the industry, right? Who are like,
Hmm.
money ain't no work, and with all of that talk. And for you to make what you have made last year, and not, and there wasn't any like huge, major hurricanes or events like that. That speaks volumes. It's like,
Yeah,
if this is what you want, you can go out there and you can really get it, right? And then
that's
knowing
funny.
how
Yeah,
where you started from, right? That's my nephew. Knowing where you started from, right, is really, really important to talk about, because it's like, listen, you were even in a position, because some people want to start off and be like, I gotta have this much saved up, because that's what they're being told out here. You gotta have 1,000, 2,000, $3,000, $5,000 saved up before you could even try to go out into the field, so forth and so on. Listen, you like, Daddy, let me get your car. You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And
yeah,
that support that you had. So if there's anybody listening and you have somebody that you're thinking about recommending this to or helping out with to support, know that you can do that and you will get your return on your investment, right? As long as
yeah,
you're investing with somebody who has who's motivated, right, to make this work. They're going to make their money and you're going to be able to be recouped for what you have invested in them. I think that's really important to say.
yeah, yeah. Like
And
you
then
said, it's funny. Like you said, it wasn't a major catastrophe. It was a hailstorm in Richmond, Kentucky, that's no one's heard of unless you live in Richmond, Kentucky. Now it was the big hail, but it wasn't like an event where it's nationwide coverage. It was a 4-inch hailstorm in a little town in Kentucky, and that's where I made $77,000 in 3 months. No one's going to even know. And I feel silly, and this is gonna sound bad. I feel silly that I wasted my time, not really wasted because I made money because I was in Ohio for 3 months before that. And like I said, I was making $45 an hour, 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. And I feel like that was a waste of time when I look at what I did in 3 months. Because I could have blew that number out. But granted, you gotta you gotta be in the right place, because that what I made in Ohio helped me get to the 190. So, but again, I'm a little jaded now from working hourly in the field. But like you said, people don't think it's possible, and it's possible. And I wasn't. There was another when I left Kentucky. There was another adjuster still there, so I wasn't the last. I was one of the last, but I was ready to go. I had made my money. No one could tell me I did a bad job. I cleared more claims than anybody else on the team. I was just ready to go. It wasn't, if I decided I wanted to stay, and I was getting burnt out because I was grinding like I was, but I was ready to go. I pulled my arms. I was like, I'm ready. Y'all can send me home. I made the money I need to make. I made y'all make a bunch of money too. So, you know, I was ready to go. But I probably could have stayed a little bit longer if I decided. But again, I'm independent, and I made the money I wanted to make, and I want to go home. So that's what I did.
I think that's something else too that what you just said and what you were saying earlier too that makes this attractive to some people. You do have the option that if you get called for an assignment and you don't want to do it, it's not enough money for you, you can turn it down. Or if you're in the midst of an assignment and now they're coming to a point where they're asking, "Hey, is anybody ready to leave?" You can leave. You can say, "Yeah, I'm gone," and it won't um be like a black mark on your record. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
not going to be looked at funny because you opted out. I did the same thing in Katrina. I got burnt out after 9 months and I was like, "Am I on the cut list?" And they were like, "No, you're not." "Can I be on the cut list?" And they was like, "Okay." And it was no worry, no problem, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's
Right.
really important because we got people working their whole lives tied into salaries and so forth and so on. I mean, you cannot say that without being blacklisted from the entire industry. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's really important. Lee, can I get a hug? I'm sorry, I gotta hug my nephew. But I think that's really, really important to mention that. Bye. I love you. I'll see you next time. Okay. Don't be wiping my kisses off. It's magical. Okay. The multi-millionaire kisses right there. All right. All right. I'm claiming my multi-millionaire life. Okay. Anywho's, bye. Love you. Um, so I think that's really just important to mention the flexibility of it all, because everything that's being offered out here to us and to our community, that flexibility does not exist. So if you don't have, well, yeah, you do have kids. So like even
Good.
being able to be home, because I know your daughter does competitions and things. She's
Hmm.
like does the dance competitions and things
Yeah.
like that. Like now you can be, how is that with being able to be more present, like can you feel the difference, like as a father, the difference between what you were doing before, even though you were kind of freelancing your work and could set your own schedule, compared to now as an adjuster and working those 6 months and then being able to take the rest of the 5 off?
Right.
Are you
And that's
able
the
to
thing.
be more present?
Like early on, when I was able to set my own schedule, like you said, and freelance, sure, you can work when you want to work, but you're not going to be able to survive by not working. So are you really flexible? Can you really do what you want to do? Because if you don't go to work for 3 days, you're not going to be able to eat for the next 3 days. So, while I did have that flexibility not to work when I didn't want to work, I couldn't afford not to work. But now, again, last year, even the year before, I wasn't adjusting all year long. I kind of worked when I wanted to work, but when I wasn't working, I was fine. I had money saved up. I was able to do things. Now sometimes things don't align, so I actually did miss my kid's birthday for the first time last year, but they understood because they got to do all the fun things they wanted to do. They were able to go to Texas, or I don't know, I just funded the trip, but they go and do things and have fun, and when we make up for lost time when I am able to be in town. So sometimes things just don't align where you can't get off. But again, I think I will miss their little 15th birthday for being only having to work 7 months out of the whole year. I think they understood, and they're older now, so they don't really care about me anyway. They just want me to bless their cash out every now and then. So uh, that's really what they care about. But I think, like you said, it's just the flexibility of being able to afford not to work. And sure, anybody at your job right now, you can quit right now. They can't make you come in, but can you afford that? and that's the thing I like about being independent. I was talking to a guy at a Chick-fil-A. I went in, I had on my insurance adjuster stuff, and he was like, he sat down at the table next to me. I'm like, what's going on? He was like, man, I hate this place. What do you do? And I was like, okay, let me see if I can put you on real quick. I'm on lunch. I mean, I got a little time, but I'm in my dog mode. So I'm like, I'm gonna talk quick. And I showed him my paycheck that I got, and he was like, "That's for what, a month?" I'm like, "No, no, that's a week." And I think it was like one of my smaller ones, like 11,000. He was like, he was just blown away, and I'm like, you don't have to be here, but and he was a younger guy, I just couldn't afford to leave. But I'm like, look, you don't have any kids. This again, I'm jealous of Ruben, 22. Can you imagine? I mean, it's just crazy to think they, got in so young. I wish I would have gotten in 10 years earlier. But, you know, you have to, everything's a lesson. So, I probably wouldn't be where I am now if I had got in that early, just because I wouldn't have. I thought, oh, everything's gonna be this easy. Making 100,000 is just the easiest thing in the world, which, I had to go through my years of making under 40, under 50, under 60. So, everything's a lesson. But I would say I wouldn't, if you're nervous, like, oh, about it, just because I was nervous. I was straddling the fence for years. Um, working my other job, adjusting. I'm gonna go ahead and work one assignment this year. Okay, you want to make one, work one assignment. It might be 3 months, and you're gonna make 60,000. Like, how is that not more attractive than working all year to make 40 or 50? But that was what my mind was. I just wasn't prepared to just go full dive in. But if you are that person listening, you're independent, so why not? You could do what I did, straddle the fence to see, because you might get in and actually not like it. You might not like, because you do have to know the policy, you gotta know numbers, you gotta know how to write estimates. But there's so many different avenues of adjusting that I don't even know them all. I talked to another adjuster who was just like me, a field adjuster, and he told me he was doing like some appraisal process or something else where it was just like, wait, you just ask them if they're gonna settle for this much, and they say yeah, and then that's it. You don't have to estimate. What? It's just so many. It's so vast that we're only talking about contents and property and desk, and it's just so many avenues where I don't even know them all, and I don't really. I'm not saying I don't care, but it's just a lot that you can learn and a lot of different ways you can go about this. If you just want to be a trainer, you want to be, well, obviously you have to do the job in order to train somebody, but it's just a lot of different things you can do. So stop, get off the couch and come get this money. It's out here. If I can make it, I promise you, because I'm not even, listen, I've never ever called someone and asked for a deployment. I don't have a resume. I never
Mhm.
called and said, y'all sending people out now. I have never called. I just got on a couple rosters. I got a few licenses, some important ones that I wanted to get, and I work hard when I get a job. And that's what I feel like that's what kind of leads the way. I work hard. I try to work harder than anybody. I've slept at offices before. I try to work hard.
I think that's great to say too. It's like, yeah, it's good money, it's big money, but you got to work hard for it. It's not something that's just going to be given to you. Or if you give, or if you do a mediocre job, they're going to open up the floodgates of abundance of checks for you and assignments and different things like that. You do have to get your hustle on. And again, once you do get your foot in the door, as Gary has talked about, as Ruben is experiencing right now, they will keep you on. You will stay working. That money will keep flowing in week after week, month after month, and then that leads your work ethic. It gets around. It's a big industry, but it's small too, right? And so those managers are going to remember the quality of your work, the quality of your customer service. And that's why he didn't have to call deployment after that. It was like, okay, I need him back, right? They start calling you and you'll get to that point. But even if you do got to hustle them first couple of deployments, because we did in the beginning, and you got to call deployment, it was all kinds of stuff that we did, edibles and fruit baskets and stuff, just so they could remember our name. You know what I mean? We did that, and I was a team lead in basically my first assignment, right? And I still had to do that. However, once I got my foot to where in the door and I got to where I needed to go, then that was it. I was set. Mom was set. We were in there. As mom says, excuse my language if anybody thinks it's inappropriate, but we were in there like booty hair, nice and tight. And that's what you want to be. All right. I'm just keeping it real. Okay. But I like that. And I also like what you said, Gary, about we're just talking about one area. We're talking about property claims, personal lines, which is basically structure, contents, additional living expenses, the whole lot, right? And the thing is that that's this thing, as I'm discovering, it is so much bigger than that. You could do so much. We don't have adjusters right now on here talking about workman's comp and what that does, being a workman's comp adjuster. We don't have adjusters talking about doing surety, fidelity bonds, and so forth, commercial claims. We haven't even gone into those areas yet, or even uh, when we had Che Muse, Ruben's uncle last year, I had him dive a little bit into what he did after the BP spills, which was environmental adjusting, which they get paid $1,000, $1,500 a day. You're not getting on the roof at all. You're just sitting in an office and waiting for, in his case, for fishermen to come in and say, this is what I made last year. And now because of this spill killing all this wildlife in the ocean, now I can't do my trade, right? And so I've lost this much. And they gather all the receipts, they write up notes, they send it up to somebody else who ends up figuring it out and cutting the checks. $1,000 to $1,500 a day, and they fully pay for and reimburse them for their food and their lodging. You know what I mean? So it's like it wasn't nothing but profit at that point. There wasn't even no out-of-pocket cost for the lodging and the travel. You see what I'm saying? So it's just so much you can do. So even if property isn't your thing, you can always, dabble around and see what else is out there. Have your antennas up. Even with what mom and I do, even within property, we found a niche with contents claims adjusting. That's why TPAS is the only personal property claims adjusting training that exists. Our personal property content certification course is the only one that exists in the industry. And we found it was something we felt we ended up getting into in our first storm. We really, really liked it. It fit well with our personalities and we stuck with it. Now we also have our own independent adjusting firm that specializes in contents, personal property claim handling. It's the only one of its kind. Even though these other folks act like that's what they do, that's not what they do. We are the only ones. We have no competition. All right. So, and again, that can be the case for anybody who's listening. That could be your story as well. So it's whatever you want to do, what you want to do. And like Gary said, you can sit on the couch, you get out here and make this money. I love that quote. We're going to use that. I'm going to take that little sound bite. I'm loving what y'all saying right now. So Gary, and then there's the whole Dubai thing. You was like, my girlfriend wanted to go to Dubai, I just went. I didn't even look at price. I ain't even looking for a sale. I just bought it, right? Because I made 190,000 in 7 months in a year that didn't have a big old hurricane or whatever. Like I did it. You grind it. You put in the work. And like you said, I outworked my coworkers. And in that respect, yeah, we all family, but it is competitive. And you do want to be the adjuster who stands out and stands above bar and stands above the rest, which is why our training is the way that it is. Because if we train above bar, then what ends up happening, we produce above bar adjusters. Okay, Gary, for those who are listening, any words of encouragement for those who are thinking about getting into this, those who are already or into it, may have already gotten their license and they're like, I can't find any work. And those who are just like, this is my first time hearing about, what's this all about? Anything that you would like to say to them for either words of advice or encouragement?
Well, I know I was skeptical, but I'm pretty, I'm a pretty go with the flow person. Because I didn't know you. I don't think I know you at all before. So I just kind of like, I don't know. Is this like a multi-level marketing thing, which I've done before? I ain't make no money off of it, but I'm like, is that, okay, I'll do it. Let's just see. I probably had to borrow the money to get my license, my pre-licensing class. So, um, you know, it's not a scam. And I really made the money. You can really reach out to me, ask me. I will really show you my check stubs that I really made. It's real. Just, you know, be like me, but don't be like me. You don't have to just fully commit and just jump out the plane. You can just get your license and just see, work an assignment to see what you think. If nothing else, we all have to get insurance on certain things. At least you know the product that you have to get better. I mean, I tell you, when I bought my house and I had to get homeowners insurance, and she's talking, I'm like, you don't even have to. I know all the things. I'll read it myself because I know how to navigate the policy. Because you got to get insurance in your car. It's the same words. At least the thing that you have to spend money on, you know better because you have an inside track. People call me all the time, personal friends. I got this person and my adjuster's not calling me. I'm like, all right, well, this is what you can do. We can do this, 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 this. We don't try to get the person fired, but it might have to go that way, but at least I kind of know, all right, well, no, they're not telling you to do the right thing on this one. They probably knew. Let me see what's their name. Okay. But you got to get the product anyway. You might as well work an assignment. Just do one. If you don't like it, if it's not lucrative, I don't, we all have to be honest. I don't know whenever they put me on component the first time, I don't think I broke even, but I didn't make, the buku bucks my first time. Again, I didn't know what I was doing. So, but I make more than I would have made at home, yeah, for sure. But, for the stress level of me not knowing what I was doing and how much I made, I think I made probably $12,000 that month, which is for most people that's crazy. I just was like, that wasn't a lot of money at all, but it was good. It was just a lot of stress compared to it. But if I had stopped there, I could have said, hey, what you know what? I made my money for my licenses. I made my money for my pre-licenses. I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands and walk away. Um, you could do that, and there's jobs that'll hire you. You can make money, but as far as this field, I know there's a lot of older adjusters that are retiring. They need adjusters. The job is changing. It's so much information too. You can't say, "Oh, I just didn't know how to do it," because there's so much information. You can literally just put on the video on how to build a house and just listen to it while you fall asleep, and then just keep doing that, and you will learn stuff. So don't don't sleep on it. I tell people all the time, do it. I've gotten people who didn't go the independent way, they went staff way or some other ones, they reached out like, man, I need a job. I'm like, well, this is what I do. And they've actually listened to me and they one of them, she's a staffer and now she has houses and she's renting out houses and doing Airbnb. So she didn't stay with it, or maybe she's doing both. But before, she told me she wasn't making any money. She was making, no disrespect, she was making that Ruben money at first. And now she's out here got houses. And, you know, so, you know, do it. You don't
Don't
you
be
don't have to go
shade Ruben's
independent.
money. Talk about making that Ruben
Hit
money. Ruben
that
still made
$9.
$61,000 in
No,
eight
no.
months.
The
That's
nine
facts
dollar
though.
money. That's what
Yeah.
she was
Oh,
making.
the
The $9
$9.
money.
Okay, the old Ruben
Yeah,
money,
that the
not the
old
new
Yeah.
Ruben
Ruben
Yeah.
money.
money,
Okay,
not the new
I
Ruben.
need
No, 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 no.
clarity on that.
Not the new Ruben, the old Ruben. And she's my age, so you think about even. I feel like
Right.
when we get older, we should be making some more money. We have more experience. We should be
That's
we should be worth more to the world. So if you're my age and you're still making 30, 40, I mean, I'm not knocking you at all, but you could be making more. You have more experience. And she was my age making that. So I told her about it, Justin, and she got her staff license. She works for Liberty, I think, and she's doing well. And she told me, she said, thank you. You changed my life. And she's not even making what I'm making. Not even, I don't even think she's making half, but it was a big change for her. So, I mean, you could probably, I don't know y'all situation out there, but you could probably change your life. Or you could look and just do something different. You want to go out and travel? I've been to what, 13, 12, 11 different states. on both coasts. I've been there for months, not just a fly through. So you want to go travel? Some people like that traveling and get on the road and go live somewhere. It could be an opportunity for you. So don't sleep. Get off the couch. Come on.
Yeah, I love that, Gary. I love it. Ruben, Gary, let me see. Does anyone have well before we do that, Gary, is there anything else you would like to say? Let me back up a little bit. I just really love what you're saying. Excuse Ma, I can hear that. I just really love my mama on the other side of this camera, y'all, and she listening on her end, but so I like what you said about it. Just makes me think of the ripple effect. You're sharing it with other people, the opportunity, and for your friend to be like, you know what, I didn't go your route, but I'm still living good. I went staff instead, right? Depending on whatever her situation was. And I'm now able to buy property. I've got this other money coming in because of that. And that's what this is all about. It's about building us up in our community. We can't make any real change. We can't demand anything of our country if economic power,
Hmm.
and we don't have it right now. And that's really, at the crux of it, that's really what it comes down to, right? So I just really love that, and all I could see is I'm visualizing kind of like that ripple effect that is happening just because, it again, like I tell you all in class, right? You got to figure out your why. It's got to be bigger than your why, because you're going to get tired of making the money eventually. And along with that, it's not about you. It's about everybody around you. Because when somebody has something good going on in their life and their life changes as a result, their lifestyle changes, people see that, right? And people like, it's like people want to be a part of that, right? It becomes contagious. And it's like, wow, I remember when they were there, and now look at them now, and oh my goodness, blah blah blah. I was even telling mom last night as I was putting together really quickly your ads and stuff, and I went and I stumbled upon a picture of one of your first licensing classes or something we did. I think it was your first licensing class. And I said, boy, look at this picture. I said, I need to do before and afters of all of y'all. I saw you, and I saw Jonathan and Jeff and I was just going, I was like, look at them. I'm even looking at some of folks that are married, where the husbands were married, like Jeff, for instance, Jeff and Jason, who were married, and Pierre and Ann. And I'm even looking at the wife looking like, child, listen, the wives is looking all right. Y'all was looking homely before. Now you're looking like little divas. Like, I see you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. And I was like, I need to do before and afters. So I don't even think, because when it's us and we're looking at us, we don't see us. You know what I mean? Sometimes. And it sometimes you got to see something like that, like a side by side, to be like, dang, right? Like, wow, I came that far. I can see it in the dress. I can see it in everything, and I just think I just think it's awesome. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. Everything that you all have achieved, everything you have accomplished, and I'm loving it, Gary. I'm absolutely loving it. So, Gary, did you have any other last words before I give you your
I don't think
roses? Okay.
I, I don't think I have anything else to say. I look at the number. I'm astounded really by my last year's performance. And the year before I made 150, and I was like, there's no way. In my mind, I'm thinking I gotta get, I want to get better. So I was like, maybe I make 151. That'll be slightly better, because there's no way. I couldn't even imagine making 190 and then not even working a whole year. I was thinking, okay, maybe you could do it in 12 months, sure, but in 7 months, it's just to me, it's just crazy. I don't even believe it myself, to be honest. It's crazy, but I just, you know, I just fortunate. I feel like it's everything I touch just wins, it's turn to gold. Because there's no way. There's just no way. I mean, I just feel like, yeah, the effort's there when I'm working, but I don't have, like I said, I don't even have an adjustment. My regular resume is 10 years old. I don't even have a working resume. Like I just haven't needed one. So it's just been life changing. It really has. I'm fortunate. That's what I would say. And I think I would hope that people would hear me and believe that they can have the same thing for themselves. So
And that just goes to say, one of the reasons why we do claims adjuster workshop is so that you can hear all these different stories, because no two stories are alike. Everybody comes about this and hits their, level of success in their own ways, right? Ruben had his resume. We worked on it together. Gary didn't do his resume. Ruben may have, I don't know how many licenses you have, Ruben, but there are adjusters that might have 20 licenses out there. Gary got 7, right? I'm saying, but it doesn't mean that the opportunities that can come your way are any less. It just all depends on how you go about it, and everybody's journey is unique to them and it is their own. So it all depends on what the universe has in store for you for your journey in this industry. So don't hear these stories and be like, oh man, I'm a desk adjuster right now and I've only brought in 50,000 in the first 8 months, right? Or I'm a field adjuster and I worked 10 months and I only brought in 100. That's okay. You still making it, right? And you're going to get whatever you desire, whatever you want, you're going to have, for as long as you just stick with it. I am even realizing in starting TPAS, running TPAS, evolving TPAS, is that the key to a lot of these successful business and these successful people out here who have these different ventures, it's not how much investors that they had. It's not how much startup money they had. It's not any of that. It is literally all about their own personal growth and sticking with it. If you really believe in yourself and you believe in your own capabilities, all you have to do is stick with it. It's the perseverance. It's being able to hold out and power through the storm. And it's going to be ups and downs. It's a roller coaster, right? You're going to have all of that. But if you believe in what you're doing and you really are fixed on the goals that you have for yourself, whatever you desire, whatever you want, just as Gary said, I feel like everything I touch, I do now turns to gold. I got that Midas touch. I'm feeling the same way. I told my mama, I said, you will not believe how powerful I am. I am really powerful. Like, just recognizing your own power, because your only enemy is you. And that's what it all comes down to, right? That's it. We can wander around in the dark, or we can get up off the couch and make this money. All right. I'm gonna be using that a lot. I see it already. So I don't see any questions in the chat. Now, Gary, if anyone has any questions, I know you're on Facebook. Is it okay for them? You don't have to give out your phone number or anything like that. Give out whatever information that you like. If somebody wants to reach out to you, talk to you, get any kind of advice from you, would you be open even when you go back out in the field and you're ready to do any ride-alongs? Like if Ruben got his uncle and everything, but if he might want to ride along with you or somebody like that, would you be open to that?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm here to help anybody who wants help. It's amazing how many people don't ask because they feel like they can't. But I'm here to help. Facebook, email, you can call me. I don't care. I mean, right now I'm chilling. So,
And
if
what's
you
your
want help, if you
email?
really want help, you can use my Mr. Gary Smith 2016. That's when I got my pre-licensing at
Okay.
gmail.com.
All right. I'm putting it here in the chat. And then you said a phone number.
Yeah, you can put my phone numbers 314
If you want. Okay.
53. Yeah, it doesn't matter. 314-532-0591.
All right. I just put it down in the chat. Thank you, Gary. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, so we're wrapping this up. We're coming to the end of this. I just wanted to give my last few words. Of course, I'm sure this has been very riveting for some and maybe not so much for others, and that's okay. Some will, some won't, some so what. I I used to do multi-level marketing back in the day. TPAS is not that, but that was one of the phrases that I took from one of the multi-level marketing ventures that I tried once upon a time. I will say this for those who are interested in being trained by TPAS, going through your pre-licensing training, we have a couple of different options for you. Along when you registered for this workshop, there should have been, especially when you went on WebEx, it was available on WebEx as well as on Eventbrite. If you missed it on either of those, you can go to our website, tpas.llc/claims hyphen adjuster hyphen workshop. If that's too much to remember, just go to our website, tpas.llc. You're going to hit the events drop down and there'll be a claims adjuster workshop page. Click on that page. There's going to actually be an adjuster information brochure. Read that information to find out more details about what it takes to become an adjuster. You can also look on our website, go to courses, and then go to adjuster licensing, that tab. That will open up the page for our Texas All Lines Adjuster Licensing Pre-License course. You can sign up for that course, and we actually have two options for you. We are going back to some in-person classes because we have a larger program going on that just got approved by the state of Missouri. So we're now eligible training providers for the state of Missouri under MoJobs, Missouri MoJobs. And that program has also been approved by the Federal Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which means that anybody who's interested who may be on unemployment, who may be a dislocated worker, who may be receiving benefits, whether unemployment benefits, SNAP benefits, or have received those benefits within the last 5 years, you may be eligible to have that 8-week claims professional training program paid for by the state. Okay, so and we do have open enrollment going on right now. Our first semester begins on January 29th. So if you're in Missouri, you still have time to sign up for that program. However, if you're just interested in taking the licensing class, you can come into our classroom. That's going to be taking place January 29th. It'll be 5 days, a 40-hour class, and you can go through that class to get your pre-licensing taken care of. We also have dates on the schedule if you wanted to just do pre-licensing, or excuse me, pre-study, and then take an instructor guided course, which will be a 3-day course as well. Okay, so if it says in virtual or in person, that's a 5-day class. If it doesn't say any of that, that's our 3-day class, and it comes with pre-study work. So we've got a lot going on over here, and our biggest announcement I would have to say is geez, it's been a lot, right? If you are an insurance adjuster, one thing I would like to encourage everybody to do is to join the National African American Insurance Association. It is an association nonprofit specifically for insurance professionals that are of color. And I am proud to announce that I am a member of the St. Louis chapter. We call it NIA for short. And I have actually just earlier this week been asked to be on the board, and I am officially a board member of NIA for the STL chapter. So, hey. So yeah, so we're trying to make big things. NIA is a great organization, great networking. Even if you decide that, hey, I don't want to be independent, I want to go staff, that's a great network to plug into once you go through your licensing and get into the game, that you can transition over and possibly get you a good job by word of mouth. I'm just saying, because we all for the elevation and the economic empowerment of our people. All right, and we're going to do that. One of the avenues we're going to choose to do that will be through insurance. Also, my very last announcement that I would like to make, which is one of our biggest, TPAS is now officially an international insurance training and consulting firm. We actually just signed off on our very first international contract with an insurance carrier in Ghana, and we will be doing actually at the last week of June a training series there for the insurance carriers of Ghana. It's going to be a 3-day training, and I'm pretty happy about it. I'm trying to be like low key, but like yesterday, I bust out in a whole sweat because I was literally dancing like all day with joy, playing my music. Like I got a really big team that needs some really nice things that'll be coming with no strings. Okay. Oh, what a time to be alive. All right. So anyhow, I know I sound like somebody auntie quoting rap, but I'm hip though, and I am somebody's auntie. But anywho's, with that said, I don't see any questions out there, you guys. We will have this recording. I got to do a little editing on the front end, but we're going to have a playback for everybody. We'll put it on our YouTube page on TPAS TV. Also, feel free if you want to give us a call. If you have any questions, give us a call at 877-466-6698 and follow all of our social medias. YouTube on TPAS TV on YouTube. We have a LinkedIn page, TPAS, space LLC, and our Facebook page, TPAS again, LLC, all caps for that. Or you can even follow us on Instagram, and I think our Instagram page is TPAS.LLC, and we have a Twitter. TPAS _ NOW, and then HAT. That's supposed to be now what? Whew. I think that is it. Ruben, Gary, I think this was a good workshop. Even if it was just listen, we did it. We did it, you all. And I think we did a really good job. Thank you again for just sharing your story. I think one of the issues that we have is that we don't talk to each other enough about what we're doing. We don't share enough. And what I like is that here at TPAS, we foster that environment. Honey, we're not scared to share anything that we got going on. We want to bring in as many people that are willing and are hungry to take advantage of this opportunity and do their thing. But you got to be ready because we don't play around, okay? We said, I'm the one setting the bar and I'm trying to take it to the moon, take it to the stars. So anywho's, anybody got any last words? Ruben, Gary, anything you want to say? I feel like y'all said it all. I don't have to say anything else, okay?
This was great. This was great. Yeah, it was great being here. It was great to hear the big things in store for TPAS. It was great hearing Gary's story. I get we all have to start somewhere. Listening to him, it was very exciting. I see the potential. I see what's in store for me as this year. I always heard Phil was great, but he definitely got me wanting to jump off the couch like tomorrow and start applying and putting my name out there again. But it's exciting. This was great. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome,
Good
Ruben, and thank you
news.
for coming.
International company. I love it. I love it.
Come on now.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Yes.
We
Yes.
internationally though.
Yes.
That's amazing.
No, I appreciate you having me again. You know, I will come back anytime. I get excited about these things. I got to put on my turtleneck with my basketball shorts. But you know, it's I got from Timu, you know. But anyway,
Right,
no,
you
it was
got some
good. It was
turtleneck on.
good here. It was good hearing your story, Ruben. Hey, I'm proud of you. As I mentioned for the first
Yes.
time, proud of you. 22, out here getting it in. You know, get that degree. That's cool. But you like you said, you're in the field um, to make that money, and you hungry enough because at 22, you know, I was playing around. So, but now thanks for having me, Charlene. I appreciate you, everybody listening. Thank you for listening and coming, um, and good luck to you.
Yes, I'm proud of you both too. And we'll talk more because we're going to bring out our Adjuster Chronicles session back, and we're going to do some real one-on-ones with everybody and just catch up with everyone. So give me some time to put that together with everything else that's going on. But, oh, yes. But that's it. I hope everybody has enjoyed hanging out with us this Saturday here. Thank you for taking the time to sit with us from 12 to 2 for the claims adjuster checkup. If you missed it, don't worry. It's going to be it has been recorded. It will be posted on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, TPAS TV. Please go to that channel and subscribe because I do a lot of trying to do more posts there to keep everybody up to date with what we got going on. And with that said, we just wish you all the love, the luck, the prosperity, and that everything that you want, you will achieve. And I will say this one last thing for everybody. Something that my mother says, don't be afraid to take your imagination out for a walk. it's okay to dream. And I'll even say this, dream big. Even if you think it's too big for you, even if you think, how dare I want that? Just know that it's all about you and you can have whatever you want. So dream it, manifest it, ask for it, and see how the universe answers. And so, with that, I am out of here, you all. Have a happy, happy Saturday. We are jumping out 2024 with a bang. You hear me? So get ready, stay tuned. If you want to tune in to another claims adjuster workshop, please feel free to go to tpas.llc online. Go to the events tab, look at claims adjuster workshop, and you can look at the next dates that we have available. All right, you all, we're gone. Bye, Ruben. Bye,
Bye.
Gary. Okay, bye. That was, we did that.